Hi guys, I felt compelled to make this video to try to bring a little bit more awareness to suicide prevention. Um, Up until last month, I always felt that I was very educated on suicide, and I reposted all the things on Facebook and told my friends, hey, if you need me, I'm here. Reach out. Suicide is it's a big problem, and when I was younger, I kind of had those moments where, oh, my life is so terrible. I want to kill myself. What if I just wasn't even here? Nobody would love me. Nobody would miss me. And I think we all, anybody that has struggles, we go through that at some point. And let me tell you that's not real. Um, those moments of feeling sorry for yourself and using that as an excuse to throw around taking your own life it's not funny. And at the time I look back at myself, and when it wasn't funny then, like I was struggling with some things, but that's not how I actually felt. It was a thought that went through my head, and shit gets real sometimes. And last month I lost my brother. We don't know how he passed. We haven't gotten that report yet, but that's been very difficult on me, and I struggle with it still every day. I was crying earlier, just I saw a video on TikTok, and it really kind of struck a nerve. And I still struggle with it every day. And my point is, several weeks ago, I was home alone, and I was thinking about my brother. He did tattoos, and he drew, and he was just a brilliant artist, and he had his own demons, and he had his own struggles, and I just wish that I was there for him more than what I was. I wish I was a better big sister. And so I'm sitting at home alone, and I'm thinking about him, and I start thinking about how he got put on the path that he was on, his destructive path. And it broke my heart that my own family are the ones that put him on that path. And while they may not have killed him, his demons and his struggles that he fought with every single day was because of our own family. And so I started getting more emotional, and I started spiraling down into this depressive state. And I got to the point where I started feeling something, and I started calling people and texting people and messaging people and telling them I need somebody here right now. Like, this is the lowest I've ever felt in my life, and I don't know what the next hour or so is going to look like, and I need somebody just here with me, a person, a human being. And so I'm reaching out to all these people that share the posts on Facebook, that tell me that they're there for me, and nobody came. I had to beg my kids. I was told awful things by the people that are supposed to love me and care for me, and told me they would be there for me after the loss of my brother. And I was told I was putting them in a depressive mood, and I needed to grow up and get over it. And it wasn't fair that I was calling on them. And they're right. They're right. It wasn't fair, but that's what you're supposed to do for loved ones. You're supposed to be there for them, especially in those dark times, because I didn't know what that night held for me. I just knew that I was in a very low place, and I needed somebody. And then that got me to thinking that, what if my brother was on that place? He called almost everybody the week before he died, and most of us blew him off. I blew him off. I know that sounds terrible, but I blew him off before he died. And I just wonder if what I was going through that night, reaching out for people that say that they love me, if that's what he went through. And at the end, maybe he decided that enough was enough, that there was nobody there for him. And maybe he ended it. We don't know. All I know is that when I realized that that was a possibility, I hit a whole new low. And I felt like I was fighting for my life and nobody was coming to help me. I called a crisis line. I couldn't get any words out in the beginning. I just cried and cried. And then the guy was not helpful at all. My daughter finally came home and she saw me on the couch crying and she held my hand and she let me lay my head on her shoulder and she started crying because she was scared. She could see it in me. She was scared of whatever this was, and she called her father and she called her brother and there was nobody. So my message here is that when you have somebody that you love and you care about and they've had a trauma and they're reaching out to you, whether it's just for a phone conversation, a few texts, just somebody to be with in that moment, if they're reaching out to you, don't blow them off. Don't tell them you don't have time or you're too busy, because you don't know what that day holds for them or that moment holds for them. And when they're gone, will you be too busy then? Will you have too much time or not enough time? When we had my brother's funeral, the last thing I said, and I felt like I was talking to deaf ears, but the last thing I said to everybody in my eulogy was, what would you want your last words to be to someone that you love? And I guess that goes for actions too. If I didn't survive that night in that low period, how would everybody have felt about blowing me off and telling me to get over it and grow up? Or I'm putting them in a depressive mood. Don't put that on your loved ones. Be there for them. Suicide is real. And some of the strongest people experience those thoughts, those feelings. Nobody's immune to it. Be there for your loved ones. That's all I've got to say.